Welcome to the Rise to the Challenge podcast. Joining me today, he's the founder of Voltura, an entrepreneur, a behavior coach, and behavior specialist. It's Alexandru Capalau. How are you doing today, Alexandru?
Hey, Alex, I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for your invitation.
Well, thank you for joining us on the show. I'm so excited to hear more about your journey and about Voltura, the game that you've created. So what we'd like to do with all of our guests is we go right to the beginning. Talk about where you're from and what were you involved in growing up?
So, yeah, I'm originally from Romania. Probably everyone knows Romania from the land of Dracula. So, yeah, yeah. And what was the next question?
What were you involved in growing up?
Where I'm involved. So, as I said, I am what I discovered newly that I'm basically the youngest mindset and behavior coach. And also, what I'm doing is that with my partner, we co-created a board game like Voltura. Voltura is the main company in which basically what we want to do, we have the board game, we have the podcast right now, but what we want to do, we want to empower people to, let's say that's my purpose and Voltura purpose, expand and empower human greatness and human potential. So that's what we live for, let's say.
Did you have anyone at a young age that inspired you?
Like a model.
Like parents, there was someone that in your life that you're like, I want to be like them when I grow up, or they taught me a certain skill that I want to portray in the future.
That's a good question. If I had a model, I don't think I had like someone that I would say, oh, I want to be like this. I know that when I was a kid, I had this dream, which when I was in the college, it got let's say shattered or destroyed. But I had this dream of basically from the moment that I was a kid, I was passionate about all of these things about technology, like let's say time travel and all of these like boo things like now, right? And like when I started school and when I transit from middle school to high school, I wanted to be, let's say, I wanted to work for Microsoft, right? I was passionate about computers and on the same time about human mind. So I thought that maybe this will combine nicely together, and I found about Microsoft, and I wanted to be, I think it was software engineer in that period, right? And I've done like a high school about engineer informatics, and I wanted to apply to a college which was about automatics and programming and all of this and all of that. And well, basically my grades were not, let's say, good enough for them. uh, so I was thinking, okay, maybe because it was on the same university, but it was a different department, right? I was thinking maybe I can go to another college and like on the first year stay there, and on the second year transit and move to the college that I wanted, right? So well, said and done. I've done this, and what happened, Alex, is that what I said, my dream and my vision changed in the college when I discovered something. Like I wanted to, to go there and be, let's say, an employee. And there's nothing wrong with the employee. What I discovered is that it's not really for me. Like I'm not designed for that. And I would say, okay, why? Well, it's very simple. In the college, I wanted to go to this, engineer informatic path. And the thing is, like, I was trying to apply for everything in the first year, and I got rejected a lot of times because they said, "Oh, you don't have enough experience." And I was like, "Well, I just started college. How the heck can I have experience, right?" But I was like, if they would ask me something that was not, let's say, too technical, but it was like about, logic things, I could answer that. So the thing was like, okay, why they said that I don't have enough knowledge, but when they ask me something, I can answer and they like the answer. So here is was like the first question, all right? Anyway, I try to apply to more things, the same answer. In the end, I just make a decision and I understand that, okay, companies are not really looking for people who can deal with things. Like they can, let's say, let's call intelligent or whatever, or smart. They are looking for people who have the background, the knowledge, the books, all of this and all of that, but they are easily influential. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do this. So I decided to basically drop out of college. Why? Because the same thing. I visualized myself at the end of the college with the diploma. I was like, okay, what's next now? I was like, go and be an employee. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to go back to this. And yeah, I dropped out of college, and this is how I start my entrepreneurial journey.
When you got the news like they wouldn't take you because of grades and stuff, what was your mindset like during that time? Did it play a negative effect, and how did you overcome those obstacles?
That's a really good question. I was like, what was funny is that when I applied for college, I think everyone in that period, probably right now, they pick multiple options, right? Like,
Mhm.
oh, if this doesn't work, I'm gonna go in this and this and this and this. And my mom, my parents, my mom, my dad, my parents, anyway, they said, okay, pick another thing. I was like, no, I just want this and this. And that thing, I was like, out, So imagine that for 3 months, I was basically nowhere, no job and no college, like literally nowhere. However, I didn't give up. And as I said, in the September when the college year was supposed to start, I got this opportunity in which, like, in another college in the same department, there were 3 places with no exam, just go there and apply. So I've done this. And in terms of the mindset, I was always focused on the end goal, what I wanted. I never wanted to go like outside of the track because my mom was like saying, well, you should have like uh, applied to multiple things, maybe different colleges. I was like, no, 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 I want this. Like, this is the thing. I don't want to go
Mhm.
to the other thing and then waste more time and then go here. Like, no, I said, I want this. And that was my mindset, was focused on what I want.
I think a lot of people can relate to that. I was someone that sports was my whole entire life. Like I wanted to work for a sports team, in a sports industry, and all that. But knowing how to get there was kind of like a trouble path for me. And I didn't want to do something that I wasn't passionate about, which is most in the sports industry, you have to start at the very bottom in like ticket sales or something like that. So I knew that I had to branch out into different areas and learn about different things. So I started learning about marketing, promotions, event planning. And it just saw my skill set rise. Where when I went to interviews, they're like, oh, you know how to do this. Oh, you know how to do that. But then I had those issues where I make it to the finals and then I get rejected. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, did I say something wrong? Or what does the other person have over me? So I was always that next step. Okay, let's get going. Like get back on track. Always my end goal is to get to sports and I'm going to get there. And I have that mind focus. But maybe I'm taking a different route in a way. When you were doing that like soul searching, did you kind of have known what area you wanted to pursue at the time? Because you were going for engineering a lot and technology was your thing. But when did you start to realize maybe I need to go into a different direction?
So, um, so again, as I said, like when I started, it was, so I always knew that I wanted that job, let's say, yeah, at Microsoft or whatever it was. But then it shifted when, as I said, I started to realize that companies or whatever I was looking for, it didn't looked for me, let's say, right? So this is when shifted. This is when shifted in the first year of college when I tried to look for a lot of things. Like one of the things that really pissed me off, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It was like there was like should I say the name? No, let's not say the name.
Yeah.
It was anyway in my college was an organization, right? Like organization that was working with Microsoft and IBM and all of this and all of that. I was shadowing for them. It was a nice experience anyway. And I tried to apply to be a part of that organization, right? And what was happening is that we had two, let's say, tests. One was to it was something written, and we had like some I think scenarios. It was like I actually remember. It was like I was like, imagine you are like stuck on the moon with I don't know, some people around you, and you have a role, right? You are like, I don't know, a pregnant woman, right, or something like that. and what you're gonna do to survive, and you had to choose from all of this and all of that. And anyway, I passed that test, and then the second test was like with a group of people. So they were like not only one-on-one, me and them, it was like other people, right? So as a team. And again, the same thing was like, you have, it's apocalypse 2050 something, and you are in a bunker, and you are a priest, you are a, I don't know, policeman or other roles, right? And what you gonna do? And we had to have a conversation with each other, and um, let's say the other two people that had to give us the grade or something, like how we interact to see if we are passed or not, they were like they were looking at us. And it was interesting to say that someone who didn't said anything, literally anything, didn't interact with the group. It was like, I don't know who you are, I don't know who I am, I'm just sitting here. And that person was totally like silenced, didn't said anything. She passed. And I was like interacting. I was like, okay, we need to do this. We need to think about, because this, let's say this is a pregnant woman. So if she needs the first to have the food, right? So she can survive. I am the policeman. So I can, I have my physical condition. I can survive. And that was like here. Okay? Oh, hey, Alexandru. Thank you so much for applying. Unfortunately, you're not accepted. I was like,
Oh.
are you kidding me, man? you know?
Did they
So
did they ever say why she got the position? Or
if there is one thing that I learned, even right now, I here in the UK, I wanted to apply for again, I don't want to say the name, but it was a fund, right? A business fund.
Mhm.
And I was like going on the website, doing the whatever the form, and they called me. I was like, oh, pretty good. You're accepted, right? 1 week after, they said, oh, on Thursday you need to come to our interview, not interview, to our like preliminary session. I was like, okay, fine, no problem. And on the phone call, they were starting to ask me more questions about me. And in the end, they asked me like, how many hours are you working per week? I was like, well, I'm self-employed, and I have my business, so I don't know, let's say around 30 hours or something. I was like, well, I'm sorry, you're not accepted. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Why? you know And if there is one thing that I learned is that whatever you ask them why they didn't accept you, they won't tell you. In the moment that you're declined, you're declined. They can give you thousands of reasons, like, oh, we don't like your face, or oh, you are like too young, or oh, you were like not 30 hours, you need to have 20 hours. That's BS in the end. If people don't accept you, don't accept you. But that's it. That's what I saw. That is like, okay, no problem. I can still do my own thing without you. And this
Yeah,
is where I am today.
definitely when you say that you're able to do your own thing, you're able to overcome that obstacle, saying when you're not able to get that position, say, okay, what's my next goal? Like what's the next path for me? We'll talk about your game that you created, but talk about the background of the game. It's all about interacting with people that you may not know or need to work in building those relationships. When you were growing up, did you have an easy time getting along with people, or was it you were able to fit into any group?
So a little of both actually. Like before high school, let's say before like I think the 10th, second year of high school, yeah. Uh, I had the first part. Like I was like it was hard for me to let's say blend with other groups, right? I was like me and my best friend or friend in that period, and I remember like there were people like bullying me because they said, "Well, you look like you want to kick us or something." I was like, "Man, I don't have any problem with you. I'm just me and my friend here," you know. Um, so yeah, I couldn't blend first, but the second part I could, and I blend with all types of people. But the thing is, you see, Alex, when I've been to all of these kinds of groups, like in high school there were thousands of different groups that promote different things like football or whatever thing was there, right?
Mhm.
um, so I've been in all of these groups, and what I noticed is that even I was there, I wasn't there. How come? Well, I wasn't connected with them. What does it mean connected? Well, I didn't feel that I belonged there. I didn't feel that like that group is for me, or I didn't feel that whatever I was talking was heard. See what I mean? And as a result of that, I discovered later, Alex, is that because I wasn't connected with them, I wasn't connected with myself. And I started to, fit in what they said or what they think that I should say or I should behave or I should think. So I started to disconnect from myself. And I realized why I started to disconnect from myself is because I didn't speak about what is important for me. What's my passion? What's my
Hmm.
goal? What's my purpose? What makes me feel alive? Like I we did on the pre-show with you. Like I noticed your smile and your passion for this podcast, right? So that's something that you care and you're passionate about. Well, imagine that I couldn't speak, or I not like I couldn't speak. I wasn't listened for that. So as a result, I was disconnected from them. I was disconnected from myself, and that's how I realized that it's really important to share about what is important for you and what do you care about. Because in the end, if you don't share about this, you're not growing. You're just staying on the same place, and you just like change yourself just to people please others.
Yeah. I just read an article and it's all about the way that people interact with each other and the friendships that you have. And if you have a friend group and you're able to give your opinion, give your thoughts, disagree with each other, and they're still able to stay friends with you and understand what you're talking about, that's a true friend right there. Because you're being yourself, the true you, and you're not playing this persona or putting on a mask at all to just do what thinks what's best for them. Because I'm a person that I'm very vocal, and my friends know that. I always go by the rules. I tell it how it is. So them being able to understand my point of view and I can disagree with them and they can disagree with me, I know those are true friends. I've been in those situations where I had to fake it in a way, and that wasn't me. Like I don't want to have to put a fake persona on just to be your friend. Like there's plenty of other people out there in the world. Did you ever, when you were going through that time, when you were putting that mask on, did it hurt your confidence in a way and you knew, okay, I got to change this right away?
Well, it's actually funny what you said. Like the keyword is mask because if you have to Google right now Voltura game on YouTube, you will find that our trailer is actually about this. It's me and other people wearing a mask, and I said like the trailer says this. Actually, it's me speaking there. It says like um, we are disconnected from each other, living in an imaginary world. Like actually, that's it, an imaginary world, and we're constantly trying to say to ourselves that is real, when in fact is not. And what you're doing is that you're disconnected from yourself. You're disconnected from others. As a result, you cannot identify with the real you and your real values.
Mm-hmm. I
So
did
that's
watch that trailer and it was very good. I mean,
yeah.
the background and the meaning of the game, it's like perfect for what people are going through nowadays and the whole with social media and all of that. So I did really like that trailer.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I felt. That was it. Like the trailer showed what I felt in the moment. Yeah, it's like imagine you are going in life without a purpose, without a reason, without anything that makes you happy. Like without you're just like staying there and you're like, let's say like a rat race, you're going
Yep. It's like you don't have a like what are you here wanting to do? Like you
yeah.
want to be able to express yourself and say, okay, I dream of this. Well, how are we gonna get you there? And you got to find that path. You just don't want to be on like a treadmill at 1 miles per hour every single day. You kind of want to gain that speed. You want to get to that next destination.
Yeah. What I noticed is that you see, as a mindset and behavior coach, Alex, I realized that there are like three main, let's say, um, characteristics or like sense, I call it sense, that people are looking in life. One is the sense of purpose. They want to feel that they are doing something. Second one is the sense of security. They are safe, whatever. They have food on the plate.
Mm-hmm.
And the third one is the sense of belonging. They belong to something. They are part of a community or even of a plan or a business or whatever, an idea bigger than themselves. So when you are not connecting with others, you're not connecting with yourself. you're mostly having only one sense, which is the security.
So transitioning into your job as a life coach and behavior specialist, how did you get involved with that?
As I said, I think from the moment I was born until now, I was like passionate about human mind. I was passionate about to understand like why people are doing the way they are doing. What's the reason? Like I've been and interacting with, I don't know, a lot of people. I don't have a number literally, but one person that really like fascinated me was my cousin, right? My cousin, she's the kind of person that literally the sense of security for her is like the best. I mean, she's feeling so good, and I was like asking her like, why you're like. Basically, she started to have a family when she was like I think 23 or 24. Got a husband, let's say no, I don't want to judge. She got a husband, right? And a house, right? And start making a baby and has a normal job, a 9 to 5. And I ask her, like, man, I don't see you. You're not dumb. You're not an idiot. You can do more than that. Why are you not doing it? I was like, well, I like what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So for her, everything that matters is to have a family, a kid, and something to eat. So that's something that really like fascinated me to understand like why people are doing the way they're doing. And that's how I started this self-development journey with the first book that probably is like the foundation for everyone, which is like how to win friends and influence people. And I started reading that when I was 15 in my first year of high school, and then I went into this self-development journey, spent a lot of money on courses and coaching and all of this. Like I think it's worth at least $500,000 or pounds, so a lot. And yeah, I just like if there is one thing that I noticed is that it's all about mindset, behavior, and lifestyle, right? This is what we're promoting in the Voltura Game Show. And it's all about how you think. So whatever you think it is possible, it's possible. So if you think you can draw, you will draw. If you think you can skydive, you will skydive. So it's all about the mindset, right? Then it's about the behavior. What are you doing with your thoughts? And last but not least, it's about the lifestyle, like habits or routines, everything that you're doing in your everyday life. And that's how this is why I'm a mindset coach, because I'm really interested about this, like how, especially right now in our podcast, the Voltura Game Show, we are interviewing serial entrepreneurs and Forbes 30 under 30 people and world-class coaches and speakers, because we are interested to see what they are doing different, what they are thinking different, and what's their routine. Because I promise you, in the moment that you can access that and you can, like, let's say, replicate that, you have the same life. That's it.
I think you brought up a great point. Definitely mindset in what you're thinking. Like you said, if your goal is to draw, okay, if you're practicing and you're like, I hate doing this, well, now you're going to have a negative mindset and you're just going to stop doing it. If you're like, okay, positive thoughts, I'm getting closer and closer, and then your behavior on what are you going to do to get to that goal. So practicing an hour a day, watching videos and all that. It's just it's one of those transition process. And we did or the podcast did a video on goal setting, and it talks the same things you talked about, lifestyle habits. What can you do to change the way you're doing something to get to that goal? So like if you're trying to run a mile in 10 minutes, I don't know if that's possible, it probably is. Well, are you going to eat healthier? Are you going to go work out? What's your mindset when you're doing those things? What are you going to do to make yourself go practice and train? So kind of like what you're doing is you're kind of taking each or client or individual through a kind of a series of steps to get to their goal. And I kind of like hearing that because a lot of us need to think about that. It's kind of like a self-reflection in a way. Do you use the tools that you give to other people in your life, and how has that benefited you?
Definitely. Like if there is one tool that I'm using, and that's for me is the ultimate self-discovery or self-awareness tool. It's called the graph, and basically what we are doing, it's a combination of astrology, mandala, mandala, just to give a little background here, is like one of the oldest system about life purpose from India. So the Indians use this to discover like their life purpose in stars and whatever things, right? So this system has integrated this. I Ching is one of the, if you are interested in Myers-Briggs and personality system, the I Ching is the foundation for that. The I Ching is like the oldest personality system from China.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we have personality, and so astrology, mandala, I Ching, and we have the well, let's say quantum physics a little. It's a little about energy and environment. So I'm using this system, and it's really powerful. Like I don't know if you can believe it or not, but just by asking you your date of birth, your time of birth, and the place where you're born, I can tell you how your life will be. What are you most influenced about? Like I can tell you if you have this tendency to, let's say, people please, or you have a tendency to be certain, and sometimes people are telling you, "Are you sure?" And you feel like the pressure to say, "Yes, I'm sure," but you know you're not sure. I can tell you why it's happening. That I can tell you. We can go more into depth, and I can tell you, the life purpose in the end, like which is um, and I cannot tell you, oh, you should be a, I don't know, a priest or a whatever um, label, but I can tell you what is the path to take. Okay, we can go into nutrition, we can go into relationship, we can go into money. We have also right now we're developing something which is called the business graph, which we can take multiple people graphs, put it together, and see in a company or in a group how it can function properly. Because sometimes even in business you can find that you have the resources, you're really good, and or things are happening so nice that you get the resource, the money, the whatever, but you don't know how to market it,
Mhm.
or you don't know how to maintain the credibility, or you don't know how to maintain the group together. Well, that's because um, let's say if there is a group of three people, all maybe the energy that, let's say, is missing there is not with these three people. So you need a fourth person, or you need to do something. I don't know, maybe hire a VA, or the fourth person that can supplement that energy. So it's all about this. It's really powerful, and I like it.
Do you ever have a client that sometimes maybe is hesitant about the process that you use? And are you able to change their mind in a way to understand what you use to help them?
Of course, I was also the same at the beginning. Like I was like, "Ah, come on, you just take my date of birth, my name and whatever, and you tell me my life." I was like, "Ah, give me a break." Like, right? Um, but as I said, it's all about the beliefs. So it's fine. You don't need to believe it. Try it, see it, experience it, ask me questions. I give you the answer, or I coach you, and then see in your life. It's an experiential process. So if I'm telling you right now, Alex, you're really, um, let's say, you're really, um, how can I say it? Like inclined to feel pressure, like to do things on the last moment. Like you are designed to do that. And you tell me, well, you're wrong. And I say, well, maybe not. Look, are you following deadlines? Like you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Let's say if the next week you need to do something. Are you doing this every day? Or you're doing in the last 24 hours, just like, oh, come on, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Yes, no. Okay. Are you um, being late for meetings? Yes, no. And we go into this.
Yeah, so it's like one of those where you kind of just have to, like, for if I was the person that was being coached, asking the questions and just being honest with the answers, you're just kind of like feeling out maybe what is the mindset and what are the behaviors of that person. I will say I'm never late to meetings and I don't do things at the last minute. I do. Everyone knows me. I'm always like 20 minutes early into a meeting. I'm just sitting there listening. But no, but I totally understand because I think when you
Yeah.
first said date of birth, I'm like, how would he know? I know like zodiac signs, people can like people read like those. And some of them like work and some of them I'm like, where do they get this? But it's one of those things.
Mm,
It's like some people believe it. I'm a person that I'm always like learning about things. So if it's a new system, a new technique, I'm always going to learn it. I mean, worse if you don't like it, you don't continue with it. But
yeah.
I'm always a person you just got to try in a way. So talk about Voltura Game Show or the podcast and board game. How did that come about? And talk about what's the mission with it. You kind of mentioned briefly about it, but let's talk about it a little bit more.
So our mission as Voltura Game Show, Voltura, and everything that we're doing in Voltura is, as I said, to expand and empower human greatness and human potential. Now, what does it mean? You want to do something, a goal, a purpose, a passion. You want to do it, right? And there is something, we call it but. Like, I want to go to Miami. I want to go to skydive. I want to start a business. I want to, use name it, but. We look at the but. We look at how it's influencing you and how we can remove it so you can do what you want to do. That's called expanding and empowering human greatness and human potential. Yeah. And the game, I said, it started with my experience with groups. As I said, I discovered that if you don't share about yourself and what matters to you, you're not connecting with yourself, you're not connecting with others. So, I created this game, and then with my partner, we co-created the last version, in which basically what we say, the statement is that you are able to create a deep connection with anyone, anywhere, in less than 30 seconds. And I can tell you about features, but really doesn't make any sense. I can tell you I just want to share with you something really profound that I saw. And there are two examples here that I really like. One was with a woman from basically when me and my partner we went on a holiday last year in Portugal, and we decided to play the Voltura game with total random strangers, like to actually see if the statement is true or we just like BS here, right? And what happened is that we played on the plane, we played it in fun fair parks. The videos are on YouTube, you can see it. It's called Voltura Out. But what we did, Alex, is that we played in in a restaurant, right? And we played with the waiter. It was really nice, fun. And in a moment, the manager came and was like, "What are you doing here? You're playing game. Like, go to work. Like, what are we doing here, right?" And the funny thing was like that person didn't speak English. They were speaking Portuguese, and my partner knows Portuguese, and she translated. Anyway, the thing is, like, she joined the game, and it was like pretty skeptical. Like, how's this? Oh, I need to spin the wheel. I need to take this card. Well, it's not in English. La la la. All of this. Anyway, she played the game, and then in the end, she said, Alex, she was like pretty shocked, and she said, "Well, I really like it." And I was like, "What did you like it?" I said, "Voltura motivated me to open another restaurant." And now what she did is that she opened another restaurant, which actually she shared on Facebook. I saw it. So that's what happened. In the game, she discovered something, and she said, like, it was like someone that she admired, and we asked her, like, what do you admire about that person? Oh, that he is like very driven and committed and blah blah. And then she realized, oh, actually, I am like that. So she got motivated to open another restaurant. So that was one of the things that was like, let's say, in terms of the business and following dreams. Now there is another example that I really like it in terms of like Voltura means perfecting. And perfecting is basically the process that we say go to perfections.
Mm-hmm.
When we really look, Alex, you and me outside, perfectionism, we think, oh, we need to have something like a watch or a car or a house or whatever you want to say to be perfect. Or you need to do something like to have that amazing job or the amazing, you name it, right? Something doing to be perfect. Well, what we're doing in Voltura is that we're thinking and we're promoting perfectionism as a way of, let's say, being. You are perfect just the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's all about acceptance. Accept what you are and what you are not, and what others are and are not. And what I want to say here is that we were doing on 14th of Feb this year an event on Valentine's Day in which we were like again, promoting love as a way of acceptance and understanding. And the example that I want to share here, Alex, is that it was one person who came with her friend, and that person was like deaf. She couldn't hear. And she was pretty skeptical. She was like, why did you bring me to this event? Like, we're going to play a game. Why are we doing this? She was skeptical. You can see it. And the friend was like, oh, come on, let's join in. Let's do something. The thing is, Alex, is like at the middle of the event, she came like a total different person. She was so excited, so happy. I was like, oh my God, what happened? What happened? I was like, what happened? I really love the game. How can I buy it? How can I buy it? How can I buy it? I was like, calm down. What happened? Like, well, it's the first time when I feel that I'm accepted. It's the first time when I'm feeling in a group that accepts me for who I am, and I'm not criticized, or I don't feel like I don't belong, or because I'm deaf or other things. I just feel like I belong here. And that was really interesting. That was really moving. The end of the event, of course, she bought the game. She was so excited. And another thing here, it was like she came to, she turned around to her friend and she said, like, thank you for bringing me here. Like, I know that at the beginning I was like, you know, criticizing you and blaming you. Why did you bring me here? But that's one of the best days in my life. Thank you for bringing me here.
So this game was able to kind of do like a self-reflection in a way, or kind of let people learn more about themselves and like the things that they do or why they do it. And the example that you gave with that woman, it's amazing because she probably would have thought, oh, I don't fit in here because I'm not able to hear, I'm deaf. But after playing that game, she's like, I'm just a normal person in this world and I can relate to all these other people. Yes, I have one thing against me, but that shouldn't matter because like people that are diagnosed with certain conditions, they kind of have that mindset where, oh, I'm not going to get along with these people because they don't know what I'm going through. But on the outside, we're all just human beings. And like you said, finding that deep connection in a short amount of time when it may take longer to build that connection if you weren't doing the things that you were doing.
Yeah.
So what we do with our guests is we kind of wrap things up. What does the future look like for you, personally or professionally? What are your next goals you want to accomplish?
So, um, hmm. Okay, our vision is, first of all, for the game, we want to have this game in every household. So Voltura game, we want to be in every household, and family get connected and everything. And the vision for let's say, for the company, the biggest vision is that we want to create an environment, a community in which whatever, let's say, problem or issue or situation you have, like the bot you have there, you can come here and you can, resolve it. And you have the people that will support you in doing whatever you want to fulfill. Because my mantra, and that's what I want to also promote in Voltura, is that you can do whatever you want if you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we want to promote. Whatever you want to say, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to believe, whatever you want to achieve in the world, you can do it. And again, it's not about the how. I tried the how, a lot of courses and whatever. It's not about the how. It's about what and who. What do you want to do? What are your dreams and passions and goals? And who can support you in doing that? Who is the community? Who is the person? Because you see, maybe right now I want to, look for, I don't know, let's say an investor, right? And lucky, someone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's it. That's the who. I don't need to Google anymore. I don't need to look at how can I pitch an investor? How can I go on and talk with this? Well, no, I just talk with Alex. Alex create a connection, and that's it. It's more powerful than me being in my head and figuring out how to do things.
For someone that's listening to this interview, what tips or advice would you give them to rise to their challenge, to overcome obstacles and accomplish their goals?
Well, first of all, I'm inviting them to listen to our podcast. The Voltura Game Show. And here an example, like why you should listen to our podcast. Well, I really like this, what this guy said. He was like, giving us the review, and he said like, after listening to only one episode from the Voltura Game Show, I got motivated to, continue doing my business. He was having that day like, oh, I don't feel I have to work today, Instead, I continued to work on my business, and more than that, I got my first client. So it was really powerful. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want something like that, listen to the Voltura Game Show. I said already, Forbes 30, blah blah blah. Other people get the mindset, and be successful. So that's the number one thing. The second thing is just believe in yourself, believe in whatever you're doing, and I can tell you, whatever you believe right now is true. If you believe you can do something, it's true. If you believe you can't do, it's the same. It's true. So choose what you believe, and you can do whatever you want if you want to do it.
I think that's definitely important, is basically you have control on what your future looks like. It's just all about how you're going to do it and what are you going to do to get there. So it may not be, some people may look, oh, it's an easy to get to where you're at. Some people, it might take them a little bit longer, but everyone has their different ways of getting there. It's just, what are you going to do to get there? And I know for us, we both have our goals and what we want to accomplish. And with our mindsets we both have, we're going to get there. And I'm excited to see what the path looks like for you. And I want to thank you, Alexandru, for coming on the show and talking about your rise to the challenge. And I'm excited to see what the future looks like for your company and what you're able to accomplish in your life.
Thank you, Alex.